Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hossman. Joining me today, a brand new rock star. I cannot wait to dive into this conversation. He's the Director of Community Engagement for Sandler. He's a speaker. He's a podcaster, a game show host, and he has a really cool podcast called Playful Humans. So Mike Montague, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Hey, great to be here. I really love the idea of spreading joy and even marketing joy out to the world, because I feel like stress and stuff has a pretty great PR agency, and we need to turn this thing around.
Agreed. I think we need to get more joyful and a little more playful. And I think if we do that, we might actually have something. So I appreciate you taking the time, man. So let's jump right in. I mean, what project are you working on right now that has you totally fired up, and why?
Well, two things came to mind. First is the larger Playful Humans thing. That I feel like that's my mission. And since COVID and all the stuff that has spread like the virus, is the stress and burnout and boredom and imbalance in our work life and stuff. And so encouraging people to get out and play more and have more fun and reconnect with what makes them come alive is really what keeps me going long term.
Yeah.
In the short term at Sandler, I have this project where I'm trying to interview for a video series, 50 of our clients and 50 of our trainers or some of our internal customers on 50 different topics that could help salespeople and sales leaders. And doing these client interviews really has me fired up, because sometimes I'm sure you get on the marketing, you're focused on the prospects and the people that aren't buying from you, or spreading the word to new people, or trying to get your own clicks and likes, and really hearing about the results at the end of the funnel, 3, 4, some of these clients have been around for 10 or 15 years of ours, and hearing their stories really got me re-energized this year to dive back into it and keep going.
That is really cool. And I think it's something, I talk about that a lot with our team, that, most places spend so much time and energy getting new customers, and we don't spend enough time like just reworking with current clients. These are the folks that already trust you. And, like you said, we can start to see results. And I think that's super cool. So who are some people that inspire you to be better, and how do they do that?
Several people come to mind here for me too. The first one would probably be Seth Godin. He's, I think, self-proclaimed world greatest marketer, but one of my favorites. I read a ton of his books, love the blog every day and the podcast every week. Really keeps me pushing my mind to greater limits and exploring possibilities and stuff there. Closer to home, I could say my dad. He's been a Sandler sales trainer for almost 30 years now, and he is still my go-to coach. If I have a problem, or I'm feeling stuck, or I need some sort of advice, he's a really great individual coach to talk to. And then I think really anybody who is a creator and doing something cool. With the Playful Humans podcast I interview people that play for a living. And so it could be, I have a magician friend in Orlando, and I have interviewed writers, a 14-year-old girl that has written like 17 novels and stuff at her age. And it's just really crazy and inspiring, the people that are prolific creators to me really get.
No, that's great stuff. And first of all, one of the things I love about Seth Godin is he makes me think. I think the world just doesn't have enough independent thinkers, and he's one of them. And so I love that he kind of visits my inbox every day. And some of it resonates and some of it doesn't. But the idea that he just makes me challenge my own beliefs, I love. And the Playful Humans thing, the idea that you need to be sort of intentional about fun, is sort of counterintuitive to, I think, what we kind of tell ourselves. And I actually am listening to a book right now that I think you'd like. It's called The Fun Habit, and it dives into the science behind that. And it's got me rethinking. I'm like, okay, I actually need to schedule fun, and that doesn't seem like something we should do. And I love that the book is making me think that, but obviously your podcast does too. So kind of the other side of things, what are some things that maybe you've struggled with, whether you have now or in the past, and how have you overcome them?
Probably not unusual for marketers or creators, but for me, I think there's like the imposter syndrome is
Oh,
the best way to describe that, is when you're creating a bunch of content to put out in the world. Every once in a while it just creeps up in your brain like, do I even know what the heck I'm talking about? Am I just like the new chat GPT like algorithm, just regurgitating stuff that I've heard from other people, or
yeah.
like that I thought was a good idea 10 years ago? Or am I really like making progress and growing and learning and moving the ball forward? And I feel like it's such a weird balance. I'm sure you must get this too, Kirby, where like if a marketing piece or a podcast gets a ton of downloads, I go, oh, wait, am I that good? Like that doesn't seem right. Or why did that one work? And
Yeah.
then if it doesn't get enough downloads, I'm like, oh, I must be terrible. This is horrible. The feedback is this is not working. And
Yep.
there's very few. I don't know what the sweet spot is. You know, if it gets the perfect amount of downloads, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm 10% more than I had last week, and I'm golden.
Yeah, dude, that is hilarious because I think it is totally true. And one of the things I've also figured out is that I'm not good at deciding what's good, right? Like what is a great piece of content? A buddy of mine, Bill Petrie, and I do podcasts on a regular basis, and we talk about this a lot. It's like we will put together this blog post or this video that we're like, this is going to change people's lives. This is going to be the thing, and no one cares. Like, and then you kind of put out something that you feel like is derivative and quick, and man, it really goes well. And you're like, I apparently I can't determine what the audience likes. I just need to keep showing up. And so, dude, I 100% understand that imposter thing.
I think there's a bunch there. There is something to be for consistency. You never
Yeah.
know which one will really hit. I think there is also the trap of reminding yourself that it's not about the number of downloads. That, like you said, some of those derivatives, the TikTok video or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm sure I could tell some cheesy dad jokes and get more views
Yeah.
on a short. But is that going to help me actually get more clients for
Right.
what I'm doing? And I
Yeah.
feel like in marketing, that's really the hard part, is focusing on that end result. And am I really connecting with a human being and spreading joy, or am I just spreading more social media content fodder to grow TikTok's audience
Yeah.
and instead of my own, you know?
Yeah, as my wife so eloquently puts it to me sometimes more is not better, more is just more. And man, there's some wisdom in that. So this is awesome. So final question for you. What are some tips that you give, whether you're coaching somebody through Sandler, through whatever, what are some tips you give for growing both personally and or professionally?
Man, a lot there. I would say start with a growth mindset of abundance and learning, and that you're never done. It's never finished. I consider myself a creator, as we've talked here, and a
Yeah.
creator. I feel like creating more than you consume is important.
Yeah.
A lot of people watch a lot of YouTube videos and they think they know about YouTube, but until you've made one, it doesn't really count. And I think you
100%.
can get in a trap of learning too, where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I read the top 12 books on play and happiness. I must be an expert. But until you actually go and play and try
Mm.
and be happy, or try to teach somebody else and create something in the world, I don't think it really counts.
Yeah.
So that's probably my number one tip, is create more than you consume. The second part is really doing the hard stuff and the things that matter. Along those lines, it's kind of easy, and it's a trap to fall into more likes or shorter content or flashier, more hyperbole, life-changing, mind-blowing headlines, when really what we need to do is connect with another human being. And so
Mm.
maybe it's not even a social media post, it's picking up the phone and calling a client or an old friend or a prospect and saying, like, how can I help you? And so not necessarily quality, but sometimes doing things that don't scale, some things
Yes.
that separate you from the competition, is really what matters most and moves the needle more than trying to throw something on the pile.
Dude, I hope everybody stuck around for that. That last one was really good because it is funny because I think um there are people who just watch videos and learn and learn and learn and they never do. And there is a power in putting yourself out there. It's really hard. And then the idea in giving more than you consume, man, That's awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time. So where can folks find Playful Humans and whatever you're working on?
Sure. Since you're listening to a podcast, I have two podcasts. How to Succeed is for Sandler Sales Training, international sales training company. You can find it Sandler.com or look How to Succeed for the podcast. It has almost 600 episodes, over 3 million downloads. It does really well. If you're in sales, marketing, leadership, you'll love that one. Playful Humans is the passion project. That's for me. It has, less than 200 episodes and less than 10,000 downloads. And it's really for people that are feeling burnout, bored in that midlife crisis area. And if you want to be inspired by cool people doing cool things and having more fun, then Playful Humans and playfulhumans.com is the place to go. I appreciate it.
Mike, I really appreciate you taking the time. This has been really, really good. This is one of those that I think people will watch over and over again. So thanks for taking the time. We'll do it again. Okay. Sounds
great.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.